What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm just going to be talking about Nintendo, because I'm not that annoyed with them right now, and a lot of people are, so let's dive into it. So, a lot of people are mad at Nintendo right now with all the decisions they're making, and in reality, people just need to calm down. Like, Nintendo is doing so well compared to other consoles. Xbox raised their prices of a 5-year-old console this year, and Xbox and PlayStation barely have any exclusives compared to Nintendo. You get so many exclusives from Nintendo a year that it's insane that people get mad about it. That the exclusive that Nintendo makes, they didn't get what they want this year. And then they yell at Nintendo when they're like, we haven't got one in 5 years. Well, the Switch 2 just came out. There's almost no way that your game that you want won't be coming out at some point on this console. If it's a first-party franchise of Nintendo, it's going to be coming out. So just breathe for a second. Don't yell at Nintendo that you didn't see the game you wanted in the recent Direct or something, because it will come out. Just wait. And I just really wish people would calm down about that. Because, like, I know I said this, but, like, Xbox or PlayStation, they barely ever release exclusives, compared to Nintendo, which releases so many every year. So, it's just, calm down. And Nintendo Directs. Like, everyone gets so mad at them for the reasons I've said before, but don't. The same reasons apply to them, but every Direct should be something that everyone's like, yes, about. Okay? Like, people should not complain about them. Like, I've, been a little bit annoyed at Directs myself. I mean, who hasn't? But the fact that we get them, Nintendo is saying, look at all these exclusives. That's something to cheer for. Okay? And I know this just ties into the point I was making, but, like, just calm down. Your exclusives that you want will be coming. Nintendo has so many iconic themes, they're not just gonna stop. And just wait. Just wait, your exclusives coming. And just try and calm down about Directs. They're not as bad as they seem, even if sometimes they feel a little underwhelming. But on the Switch 2, people really need to calm down. So many people right now are like, the Switch 2, terrible. I would never get it. No good exclusives, just not a good console. Which I just disagree with, and I know this might be subjective a little, but, like, you gotta think about it. Think about how many good games are coming out this same year. So many of Nintendo's franchises are getting a game this year. The year that a new console just came out. And I know people are mad that third-party titles aren't getting, 60 frames per second, 4K quality all the time. But Nintendo's own franchises are getting that treatment with this console. So that's so many franchises that are getting this treatment now. And, yeah, third-party games aren't getting it. But here's the main thing about the Switch. The fact that it's handheld. How many consoles can you say you can play on your TV and handheld? Very few. The Switch is the main one. So be happy that you're getting these games to play wherever you want. You could play third-party games in a cave if you wanted to. Bring your Switch in a cave. Like, you can play them literally anywhere. So, yeah, so what? They're not in 4K quality. They're still the same games. If you played them on PlayStation 5 or any, new-gen other console, yeah, okay, I have the game. It's the same game. And I know people are gonna be like, the quality. And yeah, the quality. Okay, it's not gonna be as good, but why should it be as good if you play in a cave or treehouse? Like, just be happy that you can play some of these insane, massive games on handheld. And speaking of getting big third-party games, Nintendo is getting some big third-party games right when they come out. Think about Hollow Knight Silksong, and when the next Resident Evil comes out. Those are coming to Switch 2 the day they come out, which is something the Switch 1 could not do. If you are on the fence about buying a Switch 2, don't be. Like, they're getting some insane third-party games right now. And, again, I know they won't be, or they might not be, 4K quality with 60 frames per second. Yeah, but live with it, Also, the Switch 2 is very affordable compared to other consoles. Like, Xbox is having their, new consoles be, like, out of the roof for being just like $500 to $700, when the Switch 2 costs $450, and you can get it with Mario Kart World for only $500. So just chill. I feel like I keep saying that throughout this video. Everybody, just calm down. But it's the truth. Okay, Nintendo makes poor decisions sometimes. But in reality, if you're a fan of the Nintendo, you should be so happy this year. We're just getting so much content. Okay, Pokemon Legends Z8 comes out really soon, and this game is gonna be revolutionary for Pokemon. Real-time battles? We've literally had turn-based for decades now. We're getting real-time battles, and yeah, it's confined to a city, but think about how much quality they can make this city. You know, if it was a big world, then yeah, they wouldn't have enough time to make every little piece of grass look amazing. But they're just making a city. They can make this game look amazing, and they are. You have to watch videos on it, but if you are on the fence about buying Pokemon Legends Z8, you really shouldn't. And I was on the fence recently myself. I was gonna do it because I'm a Pokemon fan, but I was a little bit hesitant. But honestly, now that I've looked into it, just don't be. It's an insane and revolutionary game for Pokemon. So, just get very excited for that game. It's gonna be a great game, even if it has its flaws. And yes, you might be like, oh, Nintendo's so greedy. Well, not compared to Xbox or PlayStation, whose console prices are off the roofs, compared to Nintendo. And you might be like, well, yeah, but they have so many DLCs now. More content is a good thing. Don't complain about DLCs. And yes, they are literally announcing DLCs before the games are even out, and that is a little unfortunate, but you gotta understand that it is more content, and with some Nintendo's recent consoles, they've had to, not release them as soon as wanted, because, for the end of the Switch's life cycle, some of these big games, they were like, well, we'll just put them on Switch 2, and so they actually run good, which wasn't the original plan. That's why they are making these DLCs now, because or announcing these DLCs now, because they were already supposed to announce now, but the game was supposed to already be out. So that's kind of the main reason that you have this DLC problem. Even though it's not really a problem, it's more content. And yes, it's just paying for more money when it could be an update. Yeah, but everyone knows that that's just video game rules now. Games get DLCs for more money. So, Nintendo's just doing what everyone else is doing. But if you really are on the fence about getting a Switch 2, don't. If there really are no games on there that you can't get on your Switch 1, don't get a Switch 2. But remember that if you wait a little bit longer, I'd recommend getting one. Because eventually, there will be games you want. So, just wait. I'm not saying, my point is, what I was saying before, I'm not saying you have to get a Switch 2 right now. Okay, there probably are people who are like, there are just no games I want on it right now. And that's perfectly fine, but just keep in mind to all those people that no matter what, there will be games you want on it. And it's going to be a large improvement to your Switch 2. And you also got to think about how much support Nintendo is still giving the Switch 1. They are having so many games released on that console and Switch 2 now. So many. So, if you are a Switch 1 user, be thankful. Don't be annoyed that there's no Switch 2 games you want. Be thankful that you don't have to spend $500 or $450 for, the games you want. There are so many games that you could play on your Switch 1. Be happy. Just be thankful. Yeah, that's the main reason I'm making this video. It's just to tell people that to just have patience, and also, if you're on the fence about getting a Switch 2, wait some time, because the Switch 1's still getting support. So just keep using it. Like Pokemon Legends Z8. I talked about how that game's going to be revolutionary. You're going to be able to play that on your Switch 1. Will it look as nice? Will it be better quality? No, but I personally, and this is just a me opinion, but I don't feel like if a game could look really bad, but I'd still play it if the gameplay is enjoyable. And I know that's such a me thing, because some people I know can't play a game if it looks bad. They just, can't. And that's, like I said, a me thing. But there's a lot of people who are like me and are just really, okay with a game as long as it has good gameplay. So, if, personally, like I said, for me, the Switch 2 has so many exclusives that I'm excited to play, or have already played, but if not all those exclusives were there, I'd be okay with playing Pokemon Legends ZA on my Switch 1. I'd be okay with that. So my only point is just be thankful that the Switch 1's still getting support. Yeah. And honestly, that's gonna wrap it up for today's video. I know it was a shorter one, but I just wanted to tell people that everything's, gonna be okay with Nintendo. Switch 1 still gets support, and eventually you're gonna get games you want. But before we go, I want to say that most of the opinions that I'm saying other people are having right now is mainly online. So if this is your first YouTube video that you're ever watching, you're probably like, I don't have any of these opinions. I've never heard these opinions before. So, like, it's the online community and the, just gamers who don't spend time online community are very different, because you really only post online for, like, big news, if it's something you really need to feel like you need to say. So people who are never online are probably pretty confused right now. So, but that is a pretty good way to experience gaming. Just never get online. You won't hear all these negative opinions that I'm talking about. So yeah, but I just really want to this. All these negative things I'm saying these people are having aren't really true, because like I said, the online community is just so different from the non-online community. So if you see something online, it may not even be true. It just may not be a popular opinion. Okay, so I know this is a very common phrase or saying, but just don't trust everything online, obviously. But yeah, thank you for watching this video. I know it was me talking, it was different from my usual, but I hope you enjoyed it. Peace out, everyone.